Hi, I'm Brandy Lawson with FieryFX, here to talk about CRM optimization. And I've got 3 tips for you. First of all, if you've got a CRM, Customer Relationship Manager, hopefully you've got all the foundations set up, meaning that it's in place, people are using it, and your data's there. And if that's you, then these are your tips. First, we're going to talk about lead qualification and scoring. Now, don't run away. It's good. This is something you can start simple and get fancy later. So why do we care about lead qualification and scoring? Well, it is the way that you can make that system of yours work even harder for you. And why does it matter? Well, you or your sales team only have so much time and attention every day. Don't you want to focus on the leads that would probably close fastest? If so, then let's get into what it is. You have lots of leads. They kind of all look the same unless you're doing some qualification and scoring. So if you're doing qualification and scoring, you get a little bit more clarity on which leads matter more. And when you go to call, follow up, or even extend any more resources to get in touch with these leads, you know exactly the first one to start with and what order to address them in. But how do you get this information? Well, there's many ways that you can score your leads, and how you do it depends on your clients, your sales process, but there's always going to be something that makes one lead more valuable than another lead. Perhaps it's their budget. Perhaps it's their interactions on your website. Maybe it's how recently they've interacted with your sales team. You can choose these qualifiers and then have your CRM keep track of them. Okay, well, but how does that work? Great. In HubSpot, in the contact properties, down at the bottom, there are these positive attributes and negative attributes. Now, you don't have to be using HubSpot. Any CRM has some way to score your leads. But in HubSpot, you can set positive attributes like this company has more than 5 employees, and negative attributes like, oh, their budget's less than $1,000. And HubSpot will then create a score and help you hone in and focus in on those leads that are most qualified and most likely to close soonest. Using lead qualification and scoring means that you can focus your time and attention, know which leads to address first, and it's not like you're going to ignore the ones that have a lower score, but if you want to get fancy, you can start to nurture those and get them to a higher score before you spend resources, like a salesperson calling them, to engage with them. This allows you to be much more discerning with your resources and get those leads that are hottest on the phone first. All right. Next, we're going to get into customizing phases. Every CRM is capable of customizing phases. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in your business, people go through a sales process. In somebody else's business, they also go through a sales process. But the phases of those process might be slightly different. If we're talking about a construction industry, there's a proposal phase. There might even be like an RFP phase. In social, there's like a scoping phase, and then you have to decide on channels. So there's different ways that you're engaging with your lead throughout the process. Those are the phases of the sales cycle. Now, there's lots of different ways to look at your sales cycle. This is the common one where we start with a lead, and then a marketing qualified lead, then a sales qualified lead, and then some people in here have a sales accepted lead, then there's opportunity, and then they become a customer. Now, what happens in your CRM, so over on this side of the screen, versus what happens in your internal process, you want to match up. And this could be really different. So this is a different one where we've got prospect, contacted, scheduled, ready for proposal, proposal sent, follow-up. And then there's even like a love later. So maybe they didn't close now, but maybe you want to follow up with them later. You can make each of these phases your own. Here's another way to think about it. So we've got a sales funnel stage. We're taking them from awareness through loyalty, like even post-purchase. And then your pipeline stages can then reflect them. And you'll notice that like in discovery here, which is the sales funnel stage 2, we've got 3 pipeline stages. The point here is that it's really critical to think about your sales process and then have your CRM reflect that, so that when you have scored your leads and gotten through each of those pieces, you know exactly how they're tracking through your sales system. Now, an example is this is Close. It's a CRM. Again, it doesn't matter what CRM system you're using, but you can then track timeline. You can understand the deal stage, and you can know what's next steps. So this is back to why it's important to customize each of those phases, because then it can be very clear to everyone who's in the sales process, marketing and sales both, what the next steps are and what the responsibility is. And you can use your system to reflect that, but only if you've customized your phases. CRM sales optimization. Let's talk about weekly review and quarterly revision. Okay, yeah, no, don't get scared again. Weekly review and quarterly revision. Well, what do I mean by that? Your systems are only as powerful as your ability to use them. So looking at your CRM system at least weekly from a management standpoint, looking at the dashboards, looking at the leads, seeing what's happening, and then changing it on a regular basis. Notice I did not say weekly revision. No, you're going to make your salespeople crazy if you try to do that. Instead, what I'm talking about here is looking at it weekly, making sure you know what's going on in your system, and then quarterly making tweaks and revisions so that you are consistently helping the system reflect what's going on in your business. So what does this look like? This is a sales dashboard from Zoho CRM. Every CRM has dashboards. This is what you want to be looking at weekly. Where's your revenue at? What's your expected revenue? The pipeline, the whole reason that your sales CRM is so valuable is it can help you kind of predict the future. How many deals, how many you've won, what you've lost, and where your conversion's at. Like those are the best top line KPIs, key performance indicators you can be looking at. Then you can break down, again, this is a reason to have customized your lead phases and have all your information in your CRM, because if you have the information here, your dashboards mean something. Looking at your pipeline, looking at your sales trend, and looking how close you are to sales targets. This weekly will help you stay on track. But you may notice that over time, your lead phases need to change. You may notice that your conversion rate is going up or down. You may notice that, oh, we just added a new form to the website. We're not seeing the deals in here, and that's a problem. We need to reconnect that integration. Looking at your sales dashboard on a weekly basis allows you to keep tabs on what's happening. Doing revisions on a quarterly basis means that you're not completely disruptive to your sales team or the workflow that they've got in place, but you are keeping your system aligned with the changes in your business and the evolution of where you're going. And if you need help engaging experts in a way that makes sense for you, check out my book, Hire Help, where I've told you how to shortcut growth, improvement, and capacity by leveraging experts and getting the most value when you have relationships with them.